Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 2 of the College Wrestling Review. I'll be your host today, Eric Kolonowski. The topic of discussion for today's College Wrestling Review is going to be the Eastern Michigan duels, the duel between the two heavyweights of the tournament, and that is the Edinboro Fighting Scouts out of Pennsylvania and the University of Michigan Wolverines. University of Michigan came into this duel ranked number 9, Edinboro ranked number 5. To start out the duel, they started at 125. Connor Utsi of the University of Michigan was ranked 17th in the country. He's wrestling Corey Mines. Corey Mines is one of those wrestlers that you see steadily at anywhere between 17 to 22 in the RPI rankings. He's always there. He's always floating around. He's very... I guess the best thing would be inconsistent. He beats wrestlers that he's not supposed to beat, and he loses to wrestlers that he's not supposed to lose to. With that said, you can probably guess what happened. He's wrestling number 17th ranked Connor Utsi of the University of Michigan. Comes out quick end of the first period, gets a front headlock takedown to get a 2-0 lead. Connor Utsi chooses down, Utsi gets the escape in the first. Goes down in the second, also gets an escape, so it's 2-2. We're heading into the third. Mines goes down, gets the takedown, so he's up 3-2. It looks like Utsi is going to get a takedown in the third, shoots a double leg, but Mines shucks him to the side, ends up getting the takedown and the ride out, so that took it to 6-3. Give Edinboro the 3-0 lead early on. Next up, at 133 pounds was the number one 33-pounder in the country. That's AJ Shop from Edinboro versus Rossi Bruno. This was a top 10 matchup. Bruno came into this match number 9. If you watched the preview, the key to the match here, I felt, was for Bruno to not go out there to lose, but manage the match. I was expecting... Shop to go out, get a first period takedown, ride him out, choose bottom, get an escape, get a takedown, and then just get a ride out. Win 5-6-0 either way. You don't give up bonus points that way. You wrestle smart, you save the duel. That wasn't the case. Shop shoots in on the low single, gets the low single, pretty much just rides out the first period. Second period was where Shop made his money. Bruno defers choice to Shop. Shop chooses the top position. Remember, it's 2-0. Shop hits roll through tilt, 3 near fall, brings it to 5-0. Roll through tilt again, brings it to 7-0. Roll through tilt, that was only 2 near fall. Roll through tilt again, gets 3 near fall, so it's 10-0. Bruno says, listen, I'm not going down. I'm not going on top. Let's go on our feet. Shop gets the takedown. So that brings it to 12-0. Bruno hit with stalling twice. So he's down 14-0. Clock runs out. Shop has the riding, so he ends up winning 15-0. So he gets the tech fall point there. Next up, returning 2 All-Americans in Steve Dutton and Mitchell Port. Mitchell Port's ranked number 2. Steve Dutton's ranked number 4. This was, when you get excited when you see matchups of highly ranked guys, but then again, you know that it's going to be, you can't say a boring match, but it's going to be a very thought out match. These guys are good for a reason. They're not just going to go in there. They're not going to just be diving in on shots. They're not going to give up easy takedowns. It's going to be very methodical, and that's what this match was. Dutton comes out like a ball of fire, able to get the takedown, shoots a high crotch, perfect technique. If you're able to find a highlight of the first period, I suggest you show any young wrestlers out there, this is how you shoot a perfect high crotch. Came right up to his feet, got his head across, drove at an angle, drug his feet, was able to get the 2-point takedown. But basically that's all he was able to do after that. Port gets out, and then chooses down, gets out again, and then gets a takedown in the third to win 4-2. Not much to the match. The next match at 149 was pretty controversial, if you ask me. Alex Pantelio and David Habit. Habit's ranked 6th in the country. Habit was taking control of the match from the beginning, but the controversial thing was he ended up getting the fall. He cradled Pantelio, but the only thing was the University of Michigan coaches were screaming Pantelio was knocked out. And from where I was sitting, it was safe to say that he was clearly knocked out. The referee was in horrible position. He was behind the wrestlers. He was anticipating, I think he was anticipating that Habit was going to lock up the cradle and pull him back. So that's where he went. He went to look for the fall, but wasn't able to see what was going on in front with the wrestlers. Like I said, Pantelio gets knocked out. Habit with the big fall. So this point here, you got 25-pounder Connor Yutzi, who's ranked top 20 in the country. He goes down. And then you got Rossi Bruno gets teched. Returning All-American, he loses. And then Habit comes in and gets the fall. So that takes us to another ranked matchup at 157. Brian Murphy of Michigan and Austin Matthews. This match was crazy. If you want to see an unpredictable match, it was... The final score was 6-8, but this is how the match went. Matthews with the takedown, Murphy with the escape. Murphy with the takedown, Matthews with the escape. Murphy chooses down, Matthews rides him out. Matthews chooses down, gets the escape, Murphy gets the takedown, Matthews gets the escape, Murphy gets the takedown, Matthews gets the escape. Either way, if that was right, it was pretty crazy. Matthews ended up getting the upset. He was ranked number 10 in the country. Murphy's ranked number 8. So that came out to 8-0. Edinboro takes a huge 20-0 lead. And keep in mind, both of these teams were ranked top 10 in the country. That brings us to 165. Can't really say too much about this. It was pretty impressive on the part of Taylor Massa. If you need something big, he's the right person to do it. Goes out, gets a cradle, locks up the cradle, wastes no time, ends up getting the fall. So that brings it to 20-6. Next up at 174, Austin Mahones is wrestling Jennings. This kid, Austin Mahones, a true freshman, looks like he's been doing this and is going to build a career out of it. Absolutely. He was just poised the entire weekend. That's one thing that I really was impressed with. He secured the takedown in the second period to take a 3-2 lead. Never looked back. Came off the mat. Blood on his nose. Blood in his mouth. Just looked like he was ready to battle. But it was impressive. I'm looking forward to watching him the rest of the year. Big things are going to come from him, so you pay attention to him. Next up was Aleppo and Vic Avery. This was potentially a top 15 matchup. Dominic Aboundator was ranked number 8. Vic Avery number 12. Just didn't happen. So Aleppo gets thrown out there. And Vic Avery scores 5 takedown, gets a reversal, wins 13-6. Pretty impressive, but that's what you expect out of a top 15 guy. Next up, Max Huntley versus Vince Pickett. Max Huntley this weekend, once again, looked like the Max Huntley of 2 years ago. Scored 7 takedowns in a reversal, had almost 4 minutes of riding time, so he got it done on bottom, on his feet, and on top. So, took a 9-2 lead into the third, ended up winning 19-5. So, pretty impressive out of him. And then next up, 4th-ranked Adam Kuhn versus Warren Bosch. Adam Kuhn goes out there, gets the job done like he's done the past 2 years. He looks more comfortable on his feet than he did last year. He just has explosive shots for a heavyweight. It's scary. So look out for him. He wins by a score of 11-4. It just wasn't enough for the duels. The lightweights, they didn't hold their ground. You can't give up bonus points in a college duel and expect to win. You can't give up pins in a college duel. And even though I said it was controversial, the pin was given. That's one thing that can't be reviewed. You cannot review a fall. Ref called the fall. That's just, hate to say it, but that's just how things went. But Burrow ends up winning the duel 23-6. Just hopefully these lightweights of the University of Michigan can get their stuff together, stay consistent. You got to come off bottom, and they were unable to do that, and I think that was the key for this duel. University of Michigan unable to come off the bottom. But on a good note, Edinboro looked ready from the start, and that's exactly what they did. Came out, they got their takedowns, they rode on top, they were able to get off bottom, and they won the matches that they needed to do. That's been it for episode number 2 of the College Wrestling Review. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please shoot us an email. Our email is collegewrestlingreview@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter, EZE_shownuff. That's SHONUFF. Thanks for listening.